Hi, pretty people. Are you having a good day? I sure hope so. I am. How are y'all? Sarah's 18 thumbs up cat.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Hi. Oh my god. It's the lesbians. It's the lesbians. Okay, wait. You turned that down. It's yo Sophie. Anyways. Hello, hi, welcome. I'm trying to take my vitamins. Real quick. Hold on. I was outside because I was trying to find my mom. Hello, hi. Hello. Okay. Be really nice. if I could get my vitamin. I was trying to shake it out. Wasn't working. Hello, hi, welcome. I don't even know how to move. Okay, I can hear now. Hello, hi, welcome. Let's see. Let me scroll. My wife. I love the Wednesday is turnip. But Nikki is first. But hello, Nash. Oh my god. Hello, Doc. Hi, Turnip. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Nash. Hi, Tuft. Hi, Druid. Hi, Kai. Hello, Haunted, and hello, Quiet. Okay. Let me fix this. There. Give it around. And this, like, there we go. I was bored at work, so I can show you guys what I drew. Hello, hello, hello. I don't need this. Here. Say on phone. Hello, how is everybody today? Sorry, I was just watching somebody that said, hello, my name is Markiplier. I'm like, Markiplier core. Still have my cough drops. Still, I'm sounding better, but I still have a sore throat and I still have a cough. I should probably take my other inhaler, but I'm not at work today, so I'm like, it's okay, I can cough. It's okay, I'm allowed to cough. Sounds so much better, thank you. I do. I can hear it in my voice. I don't sound as bad. I do still have a sore throat though, but at least the sound is getting better. And that's half of the battle. Because I sounded awful at work on Friday, and I'm like, sound awful. But then I still have to tell everybody, like, I guess I am still sick? Question mark? I don't know what's up with me. Nikki, I hope you're here, Nikki. I'm gonna show you guys what I drew at work because I think it's really funny. Sorry, that was to Nikki because of what song just came on, okay? It was necessary. I don't know if she's here though, Nash. I got bored, so let's show you guys what I drew at work over the weekend. Is it stuff for here? Glorp cat. Viscous. Viscous. We have legendary Glorp cat because I got bored, so Glorp came out. You can barely see him. He's too Glorp. There you go. Now you can see Glorp better. Snake Eater is a banger. I did turn it up a little bit. Let me turn it back down. I turned it up for Nikki. We have a page of Rem. Specifically, really love this one when you shove the whole lollipop in your mouth. And this one. This one's by far my favorite. My little Remjamin. When I get sick, I always have a cough for like a month after. People always ask if I'm still, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm just struggling for sure. That's how it'd be feeling for me. I feel bad because I'm like, I don't want to alarm the performers or anybody because I'm like, I'm not contagious. I'm just stuck with a fucking cough. These doodles, like, you think you're cool for them? I would kill for them at all times. I know Druid was here at the beginning. If you guys didn't see, it was Druid's birthday recently, so I drew them shrimp. Not shrimp, krill. Shrimp krill. Krill yourself. Where's the other ones? And then I got bored. I already have an emote like this, but I was compelled to draw this again. So I drew that again, and then I realized, oh, I already have that. As I scroll down just a little bit, and we have that emote, but I don't know. My brain said I was drawing something else, and I was trying to get something else drawn, and then this just came out again. So I have a problem with that image. I just keep on drawing it. We don't dance emote. I should probably commission somebody to do the dance emote. I'm getting tired of drawing. I'm not. I don't want to animate again. I don't want to animate. Big business. Good. The song's for you. I want you to know this is on my 180 BPM mix, Nikki. Metal Gear showed up on this. Anyways, we have this little guy. Love this little guy. I want that one. I want that one, Kai. So I'm like, I need that. We have the beginning of something. And then I proceeded to stop, and then I drew, this is not done and I need to fix it, but then I drew this one. I stopped my work on that one and then I immediately drew the lip bite emote. I need to fix it up a little bit, but that's the works of it. I just have to think of memes. Love the krill. I always say I'm gonna krill my. See, okay, Nash. Oh my god, Nikki, you haven't seen it either. Hold on, let me go. I need to pop up this. Because I was saying I'm gonna krill myself all the time. And I was like, I spit out the idea one time on stream and was like, I should get one of my artist friends to do it. And then I got bored the next day, and so I did this. I turned myself into a krill. And so now I have a whole hot button to krill myself. But the only thing is that to rewind all this, I have to unkrill myself. I literally have a button that says krill myself and unkrill myself. The krill population, a lot of things. I'm blind, real as hell. Anyways, yeah, I can krill. I'm just a krill. It's a shitty krill image, but I love it. The krill that I did for Druid. Love his little face. Ugh. I love a little krill. Yeah, sometimes you just gotta do a little krill, you know? I do have just a while ago, I have Clown Cat. I've been trying to rework of how as you can see, I'm really fixated on clown. We have another Clown Cat. I've been trying to figure out how to rework that little guy over there, because I don't like him anymore. I like him, but I don't like him, so we gotta fix him. I do have my Glorp character. My little Glorp character. Glorp. This is specifically my Glorp character from the golf game, which has now worked into other things, and now I'm like, Glorp. Clown Gibby. I am either Glorp or I am Clown Kitty. I really love this Rem. He's so cute. I'm just staring at him. Past a billboard. Remembered Ube Fest in the vendor spot. Force lot. Crazy. I can't believe there was an Ube Fest and we didn't know about it until like, how long has this been going on? Do I have any other new ones? I think that was all that I drew. I love the silly little images that I don't have like in stacks here because it's just the random ones for friends' birthdays. And it's so funny. I do have the works of me and Bees images. We never finished that. It's so funny. I do have this one, which I didn't finish because I didn't know how I was drawing it, but it was like, can you lock the fuck in? I need to finish that one. I just don't know if I want to draw a cat or my little character as an entire blob. You know? Gotta figure out the logistics of it. Gotta figure it out. Lorpin clown outfit. Actually, I really like that. Lorp and clown fit. My god, my frickin' Okay, I have to do this while I'm here. We're gonna draw really quick. Except I need my brightness up. I can't see, I'm blind. We're just gonna draw a little. This is gonna remind me. That I need to be a Glorp clown. Okay. I love drawing the little big eyes. I don't know what that laugh was. I didn't. Okay. I'm sorry. Oh, you can't see him. Hold on. This was my temporary hold. Look at his fucking little feet. Ignore me in the corner. I have to pull it back up after this. I'm playing Dangerous Dave. Don't do that. Don't do what I just did either. That's the type of cough I've been having every once in a while, where I'm just like, oh, everything's about to come out. Nothing ever does. Hello, Ryu. Hello, hello. First time having Jollibees? We need to go to Jollibee, Nikki and Nash, but by that, we need to go to Jollibee in Nikki's countrymen. In the land of Nikki's countrymen. I ate some gas station eggs. Truth be told, any convenience store eggs, like a pre-boiled, like hole-in-the-wall place egg, I don't feel like that's a good idea. I would only trust it in like, I don't know. No, I would trust it. Not there, but I was thinking about like in Korea or Japan. There's 7-Eleven boiled eggs, but because they have like ramen and everything there too, I would trust them a little bit. But like here, no. Is it a passport? Well, fuck him. The girls go. The lesbians go. Okay, well, Nash, now you're a failure. You need to get it. Let me do some rolls. First up is turnip. 16, 16, and 11, so turnip is doing good. Next up is Kai. 19, 19, and an 8. So you're doing good. The 8 is probably for your bones. Your physical health. Haunted. 17, 13, and a 5. Overall, really good. More balanced on the good end than anything. Ryu. 14, 7, and a 6. You're still doing good. A little bit lower, but you're still doing good. Quiet. 14, 19, and an 8. You're doing well, good as well. I almost said well as good. You also doing good, just tired. Let's see, Doc. Yeah, okay, yeah, you got a 12 because, you know, overall it's fine, but you got a 4 and 8 because you ate that egg. Cafe thing that we're gonna try? Ooh, okay. Move instead of rent fair. Fuck you. Fuck you. Gets egg salad sandwiches at the airport. I would trust that more than like gas station though. Gas station egg doesn't sound good. Miss Mine, you're doing good. You got a 19, 19, and something else. You got high roll. You're doing good. I don't remember the other number. It wasn't super low. It was an egg sandwich. I wouldn't trust that at a gas station. Airport, a little bit different. Walking through the shop, that's all good. I want to show up to. So my hair is very fluffy today. Feels a little odd because of Moose. But if I put my hair in little, like ponytail in the back and put a little bow, I look like a little sad Victorian child, and I really want to do that for a work one time. Trust gas station eggs over airport eggs. Interesting. Okay. Go to shitty airports. You know that's fair. I think because in my mind the last airport I went to was LAX, and that's a big airport. Not saying it's I would trust the food there, but like I don't know, I would trust that more than like a lot of gas stations. Deputy Human? Who man? What did I say? I said it in a weird tone. Anyways, hello Goomba. Hello, that's me. 7-Eleven Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper hot dog or Dr. Pepper and hot dog, Nash? Because Dr. Pepper hot dog sounds awful. That sounds awful. Wee. Indeed. Wee. Indeed. You know? Entirely flew out of LA. I mean, what? Hot dog that is flavored hot. Okay, that sounds disgusting. That sounds disgusting. I need to message Jordy now. Okay. I haven't tried it. Don't like hot dogs. Well, I don't recommend it. I don't think it's gonna make you like hot dogs anymore. Get to Maori. Gonna look for them soon. Yes. Honestly, absolutely banger of a song. I listened to it yesterday, so I'm like, I don't want it right now. I have it on. I've had this playlist on for a couple of days, and it switches out some of the songs, but not all of them. And that is one that was not switched out, and it's completely fine. I love them though. I love that song. I used to listen to it so much as a kid. Slutty dad music. That's so funny. Can try the Dr. Pepper fuzzy. Fuzzy? What do you mean? What? What do you mean, Dr. Pepper fuzzy? Oh my god, Nash. Nash, I have some words for you. I slammed that cup down a little bit too hard. Fuzzy. My phone. Okay. Okay, so you didn't mean glizzy, but you said fuzzy. I'm like, okay, okay. One of one of our character hosts last night that I was working with, got a lot of information from him. It's so funny. Love him. He's very funny. Love working with him. He was talking about Speed Racer. Unfortunately, at one point, I did have my headphones in and I was listening to something, and then he was like, have you seen it? And I was like, what the fuck did he say? What did he just say? What did he tell me? What did he tell me? I was like, and so I just did the, I think I have. Because honestly, at this point, I actually don't remember the movie Nash. So I need to watch Speed Racer, but it's been so long since I've seen it that, like, at this point, it's basically like I haven't seen it, so I need to watch it again. But he was talking about it, and he was very excited about it. And he was like, yeah, and it's in the theaters again, but I can't go because he's doing overnights for Universal for FanFest for rehearsals. And I was like, my friend's seeing it. I was like, she'll see it for us. So I think he hates you. So I think he hates you now, Nash, because you get to see Speed Racer and he doesn't. But also we were talking about it and joking about it, and it was like, yeah, beating capitalism by going vroom vroom. True friend would go at any cost. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna rewind this song. Hold on, we're gonna turn it up a little bit because I clocked it when I was driving to work yesterday. No, 2 days ago, listening to this because I've just rewatched the movies. The scream in this song is from Ready or Not. It is like the end scream. Okay. Because I realize because it's her. I recognized her scream. I never like clocked it fully when I've listened to this before, but I clocked it then because I'm like, wait, I know that scream, and I recognize the lines that she's saying too. Oh, also quiet. Yes, I do need to watch it. I haven't had the free time to go, and also I don't want to sound like a decrepit old man in the theater. But yeah. Love that movie. I love The Ready or Not. The Ready or Not, Here I Come was really fun. I did really like that movie. But yeah, that is her scream from the first movie. And I'm like, oh my god. I hate the fact that I can clock that now. I'm like, wait, I recognize that scream. It's very memorable. Do 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 do. I'm sitting up in a weird way. Slay. Oh, we could play Slay. I still don't know what I'm going to play today. I'm thinking, honestly, my brain is really jingling to Overwatch, which is bad because I want to train myself. We were playing comp with a whole group of friends, but we were having some issues because then it wasn't letting us queue because some people were too high, but some people were too low. But because I've never played before for comp, they have, and it was just the predicted ranks because we haven't actually placed yet. But now I want to learn to tank. So it's been jiggling my jangles. New Mummy looks so good. We're gonna have to get one of those movie memberships or how. Dude, I'm so happy though because there's so many movies coming out. I'm very excited. Not the movie about the bride that gets hunted by her new family? Yes. She has to play hide and seek. Mm-hmm. That soon? I'll be able to play? Hell yeah! Good, 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 good. Release this on streaming. I'm gonna get quiet to watch me. Good, 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 good. We do have good news about Resident Evil. Believe me. Believe in make believe. The Resident Evil movie. There it is. I was like, how do I get to this one? Is his name really just Brian? That's so funny. It does make me a little sad because the new Resident Evil movie that's coming out, I think it's super short. I don't think it's a super long movie, so I'm like, huh. I am still a little worried about it, but I'm very excited about it still. There is a lot of horror movies coming out. A tank? If the enemy is up against a wall, you are the fucking wall. True, but I gotta know the abilities. That's my problem, is I don't know the abilities. What did... Jordy, what the fuck are you... Never liked freaking post. Letterbox. I can give you a rundown of other movies I've watched. Since... Excuse me, sign in. What the freak do you mean? I hate when my phone logs me out of things. Because now I need to remember my password. Frick. Your credentials don't match. Okay, well, I don't fucking remember what I'm supposed to type. So give me a moment. Okay, I remembered. Let's see. Oh, they changed the poster for that. Like... Yeah, I haven't updated you about that one. Because I told you about Primate, and then the next day I watched Crawl. I did actually really like Crawl. Crawl was really good. Thrash wanted to be like Crawl. It was not. But I did enjoy Crawl a lot. So there's that. What is this? Miss Fizzy Games? That's fair, that's fair. New Evil Dead one looked interesting. Yeah, I didn't know they were doing another new Evil Dead. I didn't know. I kind of suspected it because they brought it back with the last one, Evil Dead Rise. And that one was really good. I did actually like that. But like, I didn't know they were gonna keep going. Man, oh, what's his fucking name? You said I could be the killer. Bruce Campbell. He got diagnosed with cancer, bro. Ken's afraid of roller coasters? Well, Ken's gonna fucking suck it the fuck up. We're gonna hold her hand. That's really mean. Ken does not need to go on the roller coasters. Ken can sit off of the roller coasters. It's okay. That's Evil Dead Burn. That's the new one. I was like, what's the new one called? Sorry. I'm also like leaned up against my desk, so it's going to move every time I cough. Mummy for you? Good. She should experience it just once. I'll tell her when to lift her legs. Anyways, Resident Evil 9 needs a DLC soon. Yes, there is talks that there is confirmed. And that I like everybody's theories of like, this is what it's gonna be. Jurassic World is where she draws the line. I mean, the one that fucking plummets you to the ground? Yeah, understandable. I will not lie, understandable. The Mummy is mere child's play compared to that. So yeah. Also, I don't know if I would want to go on Jurassic World. I want to go on Jurassic World. I guess we'll be there earlier in the day, so it's okay. High fire. But I'm like, do I want to get soaked? Like, do I need to figure out an outfit I still haven't. Says exactly? Yeah. Like, I'm not afraid of... I'm not afraid of roller coasters. I love that. But, like, the Mummy is just, like, going really fast. Oh, now we're going backwards. Jurassic Park takes you from the highest peak, and then it's like, okay, so we're gonna drop you now. Boom. That's a lot. Jurassic, my beloved. I was afraid of those animatronics. I'm still afraid of those animatronics. Animatronics. Get soaked. Bad. Stop it. Okay, Fire. 10, 14, and 18. You're doing great, Fire. You're doing much better. Hello, Junior. How are you? I'm trying to think of what else. There was new clips of the drifter ride that's coming for Fast and the Furious, but it's like it's still getting tested and everything. Junior, let me do yours. 2, 3, and 5. It's Monday. What can I say? It's Monday. Universal. Universal Studios. Things to do. Attractions. Let's see. Is this a league song? Yes, it is. It's Rise. What year was this from? This was okay. I did like this song a lot. But it's not my favorite out of the worlds. What year was this? 2018. The fuck ass still sickly. I am, Jordy, and I still have a fucking sore throat. I'm fucking dying. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. We have the Harry Potter ride. We have the Mario Kart ride, and I cannot say about either one of those. Don't know. Hollywood Drift. Oh, is that actually open? Is the Hollywood Drift actually open? Is the Hollywood Drift? No. Fucking summer of 2026. Okay, tell me exact date. Ken says they're fun. Okay. If Ken says they're fun, that means we are allowed to ride them with Ken. Transformers, the ride, 3D. What if we knock Ken out, put Ken on Jurassic World, and then midway through, Ken wake up and be like, where the fuck am I? Hold on, soldier. Hold on, soldier. We're going
The sore
down,
throat
just
is from
straight
sucking
down.
too much dick.
Fuck you. Fuck you. And a combination of dark red coaster and you end up in the water. Ew. Just choke everyone out. Real as hell. Real as hell. What about Kung Fu Panda Adventure? I don't even think that's an attraction. I think that's a show. But it's on there as an attraction. So there's that. What do you got? Sorry. What is Rio got for me? Okay. Add to queue. I missed the Shrek show. I do miss the Shrek show. I saw it like once or twice. Also Rio, I queued it up for you. I think a fit of cost because I built a set. Oh yeah, you were. Yeah, welcome to my world, buddy. Welcome. I hope you don't stay long. Sounds so mean, but I hope you don't stay long. Yeah, if you ever do that shit, bro, even when you're sanding shit, please wear the mask. That is how you permanently damage your lungs. Not to scare you, but to scare you. Why, thank you. My opinion, any Disney park. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. I love the Disney parks, but it's more of certain rides I love, and then it's just nostalgia and certain foods. I forgot to bring mask. Then you don't do it. I know you had to, but like, bro, that's how you actually freaking die, bro. Don't be like the surfer dudes. Don't be like some the construction workers, specifically the ones that were here when they worked and they were cutting plexiglass. And my mom was like, "Is that fine? My daughter has asthma. Like, you guys should be like, is this okay to do that?" And he's like, "Oh no, it's okay. I have asthma too." No, that's not the point. That you should be wearing a mask too. But yeah, please don't damage your lungs. You're too young. Can I help you, Mochi? Oh, it's One OK Rock. I was like, why does it sound familiar? But I don't know it. Hello, Steve. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna close that. I need to figure out what game to play today. Wait. Wait, just the chudling here. Is Jordy. Jordy, I want to learn to play Ramatra. I did really good on one game I played. That is all. Take nap? Okay, we'll lull you to sleep. Hehehe. Talk more? Yeah, we do need to talk more. Yeah, do it. Yeah. I am determined to get good at video game again, and by that, learn tank. Did you rest a lot? I worked all weekend. I still have a cough and a sore throat. They're not going away. On Friday, it was still pretty bad sore throat where all around I'm like, okay, sucks. Didn't cough that much at work. Saturday, didn't take my other inhaler, coughed a little bit more at work. Not like on people, but just like stutters a lot. The horses!
Hydrate,
I don't
you
want to play
bastard,
horses, Steve.
hydrate!
I've actually never played it on my computer. But Saturday, my tonsil on my left side was super swollen and my right side was fine. I was like, okay, cool. We're halfway there. Like, my throat is getting better. Only half of it is inflamed. Roll it to Sunday, and you would think, oh, it's better. No. Now my left side is not hurting, but my right side was hurting really bad. I'm like, okay, fuck. Now to today, they're both hurting again. Not as bad, not as severely as it has been in the past, but they're both hurting again. So I'm like, well, fuck. You construction worker I've seen it doesn't wear shoes or anything protective. Nah, that's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. And I hardly know her. That's what I'm fucking saying, bro. Hydrate. I will drink my tea. Quiet. I'm gonna fucking. Thank you. I won't lie, Doc. I am getting tired of the joke. But that's me saying it now. But because I've had this fucking sore throat for almost now 2 weeks. Once we hit Wednesday, I will have had it for a full 2 weeks. So I'm fucking sick and tired of this shit. I have not had coffee for a whole week and a half. I've literally only been drinking tea and so much honey. Something bad can last a few months. Hopefully not. Yeah. Got it. The joke is. I was like, oh, wait, that's exactly the opposite of what I just said. You got it. Everything was typed wrong, but you got it. Nash, I love how you pair up with that and then pair it up with the knife. Respiratory something last year that affects. Yeah. Steve, especially for me, I have asthma already, so that's what I'm struggling with. My cough is that my lungs are now irritated and inflamed, so now I have to solve that issue, but I don't know why I have a sore throat still. That's the part that's getting me. I don't know why I have that still. I love this song. But my cough, I would like to tell a story. When I went to Europe back in high school, I went into the catacombs, and fuck them, because I went to the catacombs, and some people didn't go because, like, it's a lot of steps down, a lot of steps up. That's fine. They kind of warn you about that, so if you have any issues, you don't go. At the end of the fucking tour, they say, oh yeah, they went down here to hide, yes, but it was also very dangerous down here because of, I'm going to say CO2 levels, because I don't actually remember what chemical it was in the air. So we're just going to say, overall, was bad for lungs, was not good. So they told us at the very end of the tour. So you know what happened? As soon as I came back up, my asthma was inflamed. My asthma was triggered. My lungs were irritated. And for the next month or two, I was having coughing spurts. And I'm like, that would have been nice to know before the tour, because I would have said, no, probably shouldn't go down. So yeah, fuck them. Fuck that one specific catacombs in Italy. I hate you. Yeah, it wasn't the worst, but it's like a little coughing spurt like this, where my lungs were just irritated from it. And I was like, you told me at the end, but not the beginning. Yeah, I don't know why. Unless it was just like missed somehow, like I didn't catch it, but like I was like, oh, okay, I shouldn't be down here. I can't say I went. It's not the catacombs I would have liked to go down. Would have liked to go down to catacombs in Paris, but also I don't think I want to. But also I think they're really cool, but also I don't think I want to. Legit, my friend. So there wasn't even any cats. There's no cats in the catacombs. Agony. Literal poison in there. Literally. Literal poison in the air. Have fun. I was like, fuck. What do you mean? God. Ugh. But yeah, I can say that I went. I'm sure I have the little ticket for like the tour ticket that I could see exactly what catacomb it was because I don't really remember exactly. What the fuck is this? I didn't see this till now. Why do I never see my messages? Mochi's making her way. It was a clip from Deadlock that Jordy sent. I see. Oh my god. That's when he was fucking a slippery snake. Crazy. Mochi, can I help you? Do you remember the city? I do not. I can tell you the rough around places we were in because there was only so many places we went in Italy. Because we were up in Florence and we were down in Rome. I think there was Venice too. Was not in the water. It was either in Rome or Florence, one of the two. Doesn't really narrow it down for like what options there is for that, but like those are the two main places we were at. Mochi, they say hello. But I could probably figure it out. I need to not be leaning up again. Who the frick is? It's like, who the frick is texting me? It's the FanFest gang. You gotta. Bro, I gotta. Oh, I forgot. Oh my god, I was watching Running Man last night. Because I wanted to watch the new one, and I was like, okay, sure, I'll put it on because I don't care too much about it. I love Glenn Powell though. I love Glenn Powell, so I was happy watching it. But it's a very odd movie. Mochi, you're moving the charm. The catacombs, but I know fully well I would have a breakdown if something so cramped space. That is fair. The ones I went into, I don't remember. Okay. So I had to look up. I didn't remember what the actual name of Florence was. No, real as hellfire. Real as hell. I don't remember how crammed the catacombs I went into was.
Pat the cattle booty.
She got butt pats. Just for you, Ryu. I thought you meant the Korean show. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if I did. I haven't watched Korean shows. I miss Korean reality. Korean? Korean reality shows. Bad man luck would be, and because catacombs I'd find a gate of hell and end up opening. I know what it rip. How unfortunate. How unfortunate I would be. Same cities sometimes confuse me. I agree too, Fire. I can't. Oh, I do need to look up something. I can't like defend it at all. Truth be told, English confuses me. There's auditions coming up that I'm like, okay, I gotta have fun with life. Ba 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Sorry, that was the most beautiful singing I've ever heard. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Mm-hmm. The Arnold one, I wasn't watching the Arnold one. Like, yes, the Arnold one, but not the Arnold one. The remake that they made of it. Since it doesn't need to be released, I concur. The Catacomb. No, I haven't. I've been to the graveyard quite a bit. Actually, the graveyard more towards. I guess I would say closer to you, but I guess it's in between us, Nash. Not to dox us, but like, because I guess it's a little bit farther from you, but it's farther from me. It would be closer to the only actual lesbian in our group, to Denitsa. It'd be closer to her if I had to pinpoint it. During D&D, I had a terrible luck. 2 combat encounters with not one. Damn. Unfortunate. Either, but I want to. I really want to watch the Arnold one. No doxing. We did it on stream recently where we did accidentally dox. I just didn't publish it. Me and B were locked into the convo, that's why. Can I be an actual lesbian? I mean, you can try. I'm sure you could try. Standard Arnold's. Yeah, I mean, it's a movie of its time, but I would like to watch that one. I will say this one, I have 30 minutes left of it, but it's also very like, huh? Huh? It's just a weird concept in general. And I feel like it's a very fast-paced movie, but fast-paced where it kind of hinders itself. You know? Doesn't hinder itself too much, but then it's like suddenly we're just already going into it. It's like, oh, wait, but we're not. I'm not attached to anybody because I don't really give a shit. I know you're stuck with work. In group with time, real as hell, Turnip, real as hell. That's always the hardest thing is time. I said, can I spend a month in? Ooh, in Tuscany. Okay, that's so fun. I like that. I spent a month in a good couple of places in Europe when I had done this Europe trip that I went to the catacombs. I was there for about a month, but we did a whole bunch of cities. I think the longest we were in was in Italy. I really liked Germany though, but because we did a homestay, so I stayed with I had one other person from my group with me, which was very nice. And then we stayed with this girl who was about our age. And so she took us to school. And there was a whole bunch of other kids from the school in the grade she was in and the grade lower that also had homestays from our same group. So then they took us all out. So it was a whole bunch of teenagers just going out and hanging out. So it was actually really fun. Spent a whole month in a cardboard box. My choice. Castle cardboard box. Okay. Oh, that sounds so nice though, Junior. I know you guys haven't D&D'd in a while. Month and a half. Fuck yeah. Do another trip to Europe. Feel free to ask me for any suggestions. Hell yeah. I mean, I know I want to do another trip. The last one I did was with Nikki. We went to Paris and then we went to London. Really fun. I want to go out to London again, but also because in the future my friend's going to be out there anyways, so I would like to go visit her. Secondly, Paris. I've been there already. I say that I don't ever want to go back because I don't really care for it too much. I would actually go back because I really liked the Italian quarters that we stayed in, and I really like it there, and I would like to just like exist there for a little bit. It was quite nice. Say Atlanta, real as hell. Castle was just a big box. Hey, but that's a castle, Junior. Okay, that's a castle. I mean, quiet Kambaru, yes. Like, my friend is officially moving, so that's exciting. But I have a lot of people I actually could visit out there, because I have a couple other people who moved out there as well. But I'm like, oh, I can see them. Shower heat. Only been to Bolivia in 3 days in Florida. Hello, Skoma. I think she's growling at me. But I haven't moved at all. I won't lie. I'm trying to see if auditions are up. But I don't think they are right meow. This is the one. Okay, yeah, they're not up yet. 3 days sucked. That's fair. Been allowed to share it because it counts as self-promotion. True. Like, did you get a job? Like, in a sense of, like, what you were doing with animation and whatnot? With, Blender? I don't know why I said Blender like that. Overrated, in my opinion? Still live fairly close to it since we have high-speed train. No, honestly, Fire, I completely agree with you. I do agree with you. The last place that I stayed though when I was in Paris was just very nice, where I'm like, okay, there's a lot of bookshops that I would like to go revisit again and would like to just wander. And there is a couple things in Paris that I still have not seen that I would like to, like the Moulin Rouge. And that's just because I do love the Moulin Rouge and I would like to see the dancers. I love their costumes. I live for it. I watch a lot of the dancers who are from there, like dance in the show, and I'm like, I like this a lot. But overall, I do actually agree with you. Oh, I've seen like clips of it, Junior, and it's so funny. I love it because it's what was it? It was Resident Evil and them like shaking hands of the mom experience, the dad experience, and it's so funny. Then is it sitting in tutorials I've been watching? Work with you. Oh, that's really good though. That's really good though. That's good. You just need to put the work in and things will show up. And it's just like that. You put some work in, following tutorials, learning, trying new things, and look at that. That's good. um we're getting trinkets. Yes, quiet. I would like to get trinkets with my friends. I love trinkets. Trinkets. That was me side-eyeing Mochi. She moved in displeasure of me moving, but I barely moved. I'm sorry, she laid on me. Mochi, this can't be the most comfiest place to lay. I got this goddamn cough. I'm trying to think about what to play. The blender that terrifies me that somebody she's very well known. She's saying sure. I mean that's good though, because you're putting the this is Nasha. And okay. What what games did I say? We're gonna do a short stream today because of my throat and everything. So it's the same as last week where there's no promises of how long I will stream. Fortune, your kindness will lead you to success. Yes. Game extracts data from drives and she's hitting the vape. That's so funny. I almost want to say we just play Deadlock. I'm gonna play Deadlock at some point this week. Or I could play Overwatch. I don't think I'm gonna play Overwatch on stream. I'm really bad. I realize I'm really bad at aiming. And that says a lot because I used to be at least decent at gaming. Decent at gaming, at aiming. And then I stopped playing a lot of shooter games and everything. Patrick Stump, my beloved. Yes. I do love Deadlock. I love Deadlock. That is all I can say. I love Deadlock. Warframe. I love Warframe. I'm not playing Warframe on stream though. Whatever. American combat animations between find a voice for. Honestly, it's really hard finding the voices in a sense of like sometimes you have such a vision in your mind where it's hard to find exactly somebody to fit the vision you want. So that's fair. Oh, I do have Slay. Oh, my leg. Oh, my leg. Okay, I'm fine. I don't think I want to play Slay today. Maybe we play Slay on Wednesday. Not that, just some random voice he does. Fucking Roger's voice. I love that. I love that. Warframe on stream? I have, but I'm not gonna lie. When I play Warframe, I pull it up, do some stuff, and then I sit in the arsenal, and then I walk away from my computer. So we're not playing Warframe. We're not playing Warframe. I did manage to romance Arthur. Very happy about that. But I also... I don't know what I'm doing in the game right now in Warframe in a sense of I don't know which build. I need to do some farming in it, but I haven't decided what farming I want to do. You always slay on stream? Oh, I thank you. But we can slay the princess. I think Wednesday we'll play Slay the Princess. I'm trying to fix. Racist public? No! Disgusting. Trying to crunch my legs without disturbing Mochi too much. She is in fact disturbed though, as you can see from her tail. It's either Deadlock or Overwatch, I guess. Or Balatro. You guys can see how bad I am at card games. I was thinking about playing Inscription today, but I don't think I want to fully activate my brain. As I say, as I'm going to play a game that I need to fully activate my brain. My brain. Trying to cross my legs still. Can play Control sometime? You're so right, Control! Hold on, finding Control. Do I even have it downloaded? No, but I need to download that. Maybe I play Control on Monday, because I really do gotta play Control. I don't know when that new Control game is coming out. Play Power Wash? I don't got that bitch downloaded. Noms on cards. Don't eat my fucking cards. Spit them out, quiet. Ow, that really hurt my throat. I just said that too aggressively. Power Wash is a fun game. Have never beaten it. And that's okay. Mochi, I swear, keep your tail over there. And let the good times roll. Ooh, yes, I have that on my wish list because I love the aesthetic of that game. It's so cute, and also I'm just like, the rat. I need to play Claire Obscura, but I don't want to cry, so I don't know if I play that on stream. Fucking sad Victorian fucking cough. Mochi, your tail. Uh-huh. You can only pull that trick for so many times. So now it's just the guess of what I want to play. Looking forward to the future. Play like a couple of Deadlocks and then just end the stream, you know? A couple of Deadlocks will last me some time. I think Deadlock. If they do the on stream, we can collectively cry. You're so right. We could. I think I need to muster up the courage for that because that's gonna... I love those voice actors. But I hate them. Let's see, run around. Let me change the, ooh. We're gonna add that to the queue, because that's easier than changing the stream title. Okay, Mochi, I need to move my arm. She's literally... Caravan, sandwich caravan, you don't need to. I need to type, Mochi, I'm sorry. Okay. What do I name the stream? I really like naming the stream, TED Talking with my Deadlockin'. Because it's so funny. Okay, you didn't even throw yourself on me, girl. Nope. Nope. There we go. Oh, I guess I should change the category too. Junior, go back to tippity tappities. Have fun at work, Junior. You got this. It's Monday. It's okay. You got this. Okay. Let me skip the end of the song. The headphones are freaking stuck. Okay. Where's Steam? Deadlock. Deadlock. Fucking sound like a sad Victorian child, bro. Yes, quiet. It's your song. It's your song. I dropped so many frames that I don't know why. Are you mad at me? Okay, she's not mad at me. Game capture while everything's breaking. That, click that back. Didn't even click back in. I binged it, fuck yeah. Honestly, it's always the best feeling to binge. Touche, I am already Rem. What else did I fucking expect? I don't know what this stream is. What does that say? Okay. I haven't played Deadlock in a while. Stupid work for the freaking West. Stupid work. Street Brawl. How powerful this? Oh my god, no. You guys, Deadlock is so bad in my brain that I say the memes all the time, except I haven't been to work for so long, so that now when I went back to work, my brain is just filled with memes that my friends say, and then my brain thinks, yes, this is completely normal to say because I've been saying this on repeat, because I've been with my friends online saying this on repeat, not in person saying this on repeat, you know? But there is a TV in our room that has all the like updates of like stuff going on in our department, and we also had national, like, I don't even think it was national, it was nothing, but we had, you want me to 6-7? I could do that. There you go, 6-7. Too late. We had up on the board, we have been celebrating animals, all of our pets, so people have their pets up there, but they have how old their pets are, they have their pet names, and then they have like who the owner is. One of them was Morris, but my brain said Maurice. Mo and Krill, Maurice. Maurice. Because of how me and my friends have been saying it, because we say it all the frickin' time. Everything just gets 4 this time. So, I just fully pointed at the, I was like, Maurice! And I was like, oh, it's Morris. There's Sophie. Cute. Is their name now better? Yeah. But then all my friends were talking about, they were like, it was so funny. Maurice. Because I fully committed to how I said it. To Maurice. I was like, fuck. Fuck, bro. Fuck, dude. Fuck. I didn't mean to say it like that out loud to people who don't normally hear my jokes. God forbid. I say the funny things around my friends at work instead of my funny friends online. You need to clean your eyes. Like, God forbid. I want you guys to know, I didn't give you the game sound, but it was still turned on, so guess that's my fucking fault. Maurice. It was so funny. I have a really bad habit. I really do just pick purple. I really do just play purple. Say whatever at work. I do say whatever, but like at the same time I don't. I work with so many different people that like I kind of shut myself up to a point. To a point that once I start talking and I'm comfortable with those people, I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Oh, we have a Ren! Not a wren. That's my friend. We have a wren. Oh, I don't need to hit the balls. Sorry, I cannot turn fast right now. I killed a woman.
I am the Reaper's handmaiden.
Oh, let me in.
Hit anyone who gets close.
Oh. Is this Internet Girl? I don't want this song. Oh, save me, Lash. Workers are talking, then they stop when I get closer. Oh my god. Oh wait, no, Nash, that's so funny. That's so fucking funny. It's like homophobic. Yeah, Nash, you tell him. Because also, why the fuck they be stopping? Like, why you stop talking? Keep going. I want to hear. I want to hear this juicy tea. I think that's why I don't talk as much at work too, because like, I don't know, the performers sometimes have a conversation with the other performers and I'm like, I don't know if you want me to hear this, but I don't have anywhere to go, so I'm forced to hear this. Like, I'm forced to hear your frickin' gossip. I do enjoy it a lot, so it's okay.
Channeling the dead.
But like, if you don't want me to hear it, don't say it right in front of my face. Oh, he's almost dead. Hello, Benjamin. Okay, bye, Rem. Oh, it all kind of hurt. Okay. Is this around to the world?
Animating defenses.
Oh. Yeah, I want to join it. I can keep a secret from work. So real. Exactly what I'm saying. I am happy though last night because like obviously they were talking about stuff about the works behind the scenes for their shows and whatnot, which I think is really cool and is such a great opportunity to like hear all this stuff because genuinely I love learning about the behind the scenes because I work it. So I'm like, okay, I want to know how it is over there job-wise. So I love hearing about it. But like I'm also like, do you want me hearing this? But like, luckily last night, I would be making faces and reactions to certain stuff, and I would be given the look of like, yeah, right? So I'm like, okay, you don't mind me hearing all this. You don't mind me being in this conversation.
Fear me.
I didn't place it. I didn't place my line. TikTok and TikTok. Viper lines, IRL. Good. Me with Rem. Oh, it's not. It samples blue. I don't want, no, not right now. I should really pick my item. Let's see what I can get. I didn't put on a necklace. Okay. I should take that. Yeah, okay, we'll take more purple. I should upgrade this. I'm sorry, Mochi, but you're the one who decided to lay on me. Don't sit there in disappointment, as your mother has just disappointed you, because she dare moved when you lay on her. Okay, well now your tail's in the way, and your tail does hit the escape button very aggressively. I kind of miss playing Siege, but I think because it would make me lock in and like actually, ow, 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 try my bestest. For like aiming and being tactical. Hey, whoa, you're far in the sky. Hey, hey, everybody's hurting me.
Death is coming.
Grand finale.
Yeah, Rem, yeah, sleep him. Where the fuck are they? She's scary, hold on. Oh my god. Little Rem oh! Ow. How's my days? Pretty good. Third person who is in the room. Which are there pretty cooter summer. I give them the craziest side eye. Nasty as hell. Like I'm calling them out specifically. It's just like, yeah. I love you, Nash. What a wonderful coworker you are. I live for it. I live for it. I say as if I work with you. I would love it. No, I fucking hate it because at work, my friend did seep the little sows into my little brain of like, you could be a lead. I told her, I'm sorry, but they would hate me. Not because of anything bad. I'm not a bad person. I get along with everybody. I yap with everybody, and I talk to a lot of leads, and the leads do like me as well. But unfortunately, a whole bunch of fucking people never fucking went to middle school because they don't know how to fucking read labels. And I'm like, what do you fucking mean you can't read your labels? Me and Nina were in the sky together. Read your fucking labels, fold your clothes right, and do your fucking job. Oh. Oh, hey. Oh no. I will. Nope, we're putting that there. Ow, ow, ow. Ow, 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 ow.
I'm coming for you.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Our green water is
Ow,
under attack.
that's gonna hurt. Oh, thank you, Ram. Ow, that's gonna hurt.
Come on, boys.
I can't put it in there.
I will not be.
Oh my god, he has such a long...
Down.
Okay, Mochi laid back on me.
Please do your job, boys. They took out Infernus.
Oh, I immobilized somebody? Oh. Rem, I'm gonna die.
Our green water is under attack.
Oh my god, they're both coming after me. Mochi, my love, I don't think we can be on you. Everyone hates me, but then they say they're glad I'm working with them. That means you're a good fucking lead. Like, you do your job, but you do your job. You're there to work. And you respect it. Especially at that, like, just do... Why do people never do their job, bro? It's gonna fucking die before I get there.
The hidden
I killed
cave
somebody?
is a clever one.
Oh, I did.
But next time we will be
The
better
lash
prepared for you.
approves. That was fun.
I'm honest. I'm like, speed. Is she got that? I don't care what person.
Now to receive our blessing from the patron.
Oh. I was giving a thumbs up to the other team. Oopsie. I mean, not really oopsie, except for the one person that wasn't on the... Didn't get a thumbs up from their team. I was like, I hope I gave that Mina a thumbs up. I did, because it didn't give me an option. Hello, Mochi. Can I please evict you off of my arm? I think that would be quite nice. Yes, I know you have quite strong words. Yes, remember the last part I said, I don't believe the bad things they say. I don't believe the bad things. Oh, I know, my dear. Sorry, she's just so upset that I'm putting her on the soft plush blanket fort bed. She said Mao indeed. She said Mao, Mao. Mao, Mao, Mao. She was very upset about that. What am I checking? I actually opened up messages. Are we really gonna make my friend dressed up as Invisible Man? For fucking FanFest. I do have an invite. Oh, I do need to decline it. Hello, Amazon. You know what? To be moved to a comfortable spot instead of struggling. That's what I'm saying. Instead of sitting on my arm where I'm like trying to like move and like move my mouse, you know, God forbid she sleeps in a comfortable spot. I made eye contact with her. Okay, another street brawl and then we'll do a normal. I say as if my street brawl went good at all. I don't think I really care. I don't get why. So the song came out a while ago. But like, this song, the Cry For Me song from Iron Mouse, it came out, did really good, was fine. And then suddenly, about a couple months ago, people were like, this is so cringe, this is bad. Who the fuck is that? And by who the fuck is that? Sea-Dog sounding like that. And I'm like, this song's been out, what? It's not like it just came out and people are listening to it as it first came out. It's been out for a while. People are haters. Yeah, it was so weird. I'm like, it's a stupid song, yeah. But also it's not, I don't know, I liked it. The lyrics, yeah, they're fucking cringy and dumb, but also,
If you wish to stand against the king, you must prepare.
Slowing Hex. And there's a fucking Viper on their team. Okay. Anyways, I don't particularly want the song right meow. But yeah, people are, I don't know. Oh my god, I do want. I can say, even though my throat has been hurting, I still can sing pretty well. And by that, I can hit some other notes now because my throat is so dead from being sore. So that's always fun when I'm sick, singing in different tones. Natori. Why was that all in Japanese? That was scary. Oh god, I have to aim, you guys. Okay, training number 1, aiming. I need a knockdown. Wow, I feel like my gun don't do any damage. Where is Viper? I see the damage on Viper, but where is... There's the Viper, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I can't do that while I'm doing that. Bonk. Maybe, but... Oh!
Taking flight.
Wow. That was fucking delicious. That was an amazing lash hold. I didn't even get a fully experience that because I wasn't there. Anyways, dude, I love Pitch Perfect. I want rapid recharge. What else can we? What? You know, I'll just fucking support the team. Metal skin. Metal skin. I don't know why I have the inability to sing on stream. No, this song haunts me. It just reminds me of... Okay, cut me life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation. No breathing. Oh my god. Okay, we did a full wraparound. We did a full wraparound. Metal skin. Okay. I shouldn't try to mimic some people.
Slow them down.
Ow. Oh, I have metal skin. Remember that. Remember, you guys, I have metal skin, okay? Okay, well, I don't know why I stomped.
You don't got what it takes.
Yeah, Lash.
Keep it going. I'll do my part.
Ow.
Metal skin.
She's so slow. Hey, someone should get that little... Yeah. Reminds me of Mechanical from Atlantis. I can see that. Oh. No. I was... Hold on, locking in.
Yamato's blade strikes true.
Where are my little... Sorry, I had to send Jordy disgusting. Disgusting image. Disgusting emote. Huh.
Exquisite work.
I don't know why they... That.
Tirando espinas.
W Snake. What did W Snake do? Oh, my vines went there.
A caminar. No va a ser suficiente.
Who dinged me like that? Who did that?
Doing what I can.
No. No.
Let's go up 7. Go ahead and waste your bullets.
Oh, oh. Oh, I can't see. Well, you didn't get me. Sucker. Oh. Sucker. Oh my god.
Not going down without a fight.
I wish to give him a cup of cocoa and a nice place to curl up and sleep.
Yes, well, I have Kill Wash. It's from him. Oh, I got something good. I'm just not tabbed in to see it. Also, Mochi's back, as you can tell. Weighted shots? Leech. What if I just become health and I just heal? What if I become a... What if I become a tank? If tank, we do this. I haven't burped in a hot minute.
And I would like to give Viper my face to sit upon.
Ow. Bless you. Thank you. Mochi? Mochi. Have we lost twice? We've only lost once. Okay. Oh yeah, because Lash had a disgustingly good.
I'll slow him down.
Oh no, I don't even think if I healed her, she would have lived. Mochi, why must you lay on me? Let's do that. She's just doing drive-bys.
Taking you out.
Ow. Oh, well, that was quite rude. Get her ass, get her. Ooh, that's a Viper. Die. Oh.
You this newfound opportunity.
Well, that was. Wow. Gonna be all over it.
Before the Archmother.
That's fair. Team deathmatch would be disgusting. This. No lie. I'll do reverb. Yeah, give me more stamina. Yeah, give me siphon bullets. Yeah. Okay, we must win so I can let Jordy into the game. Oh, Lash, hello. Do I have that on? No, I don't. Good. Maybe champion in League? In League of Legends, when I last was playing, I loved playing Yumi. But because I was playing Earth a lot with my friends, so we had no cooldowns. So we would boost each other around the entire map. Map. The whole map. We would just be speeding around. If I had to pick my favorite support that I would play, would be Sona. She was who I mained. And then if I had to pick my ADC, it would be Misfortune. She was one of my favorites. I loved her. She was one that I've had some good plays in. Probably not as good anymore, but back in the day I had some good plays as her. Not top tier or anything, but like, you know, for what I was doing at the time, not bad at all. Oh my god, everything's moving. Ooh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I'm trying to be killed. Get her, Yamato! Get her! Oh no! I didn't die though. You choose your favorites based on who you play. I love Fiddlesticks lore. One of my favorite songs is from the when they reworked Fiddlesticks. I love that song so much. But also, I don't think you realize based upon who I played of who I really liked, I fucking love pirates. So I fucking love Misfortune. Sona, I just adore her so much. She is just my Hatsune Miku. And also, yes, I don't think you realize how into League I was and I am. That, like, God, I love them so much. I'm trying to think of some of my other... There's a lot of characters now that I would really like to get into more, but I just don't really know them too much. One of my favorite characters that I loved, I forget her name, but she had the hula hoop of knives. It was a hula hoop, but it was a whole blade. Very fun. Loved it. Magic carpet.
Rapid growth.
Not one time did I get. Oh, he is flying.
Great job.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
I'll get him.
Holy shit. Okay. So you would choose pirates over cowboys based on haunted question? Wait, hold on. Hold on so I can go back up in a second.
Mucho más que eso para matar.
I bounced my head off of the fucking thing.
This was on Discord, not stream.
Time to soar.
Walk in silence. Okay.
Good game.
I would choose pirates over cowboys anytime. Should I said I would do arrows today? Nah, you're stuck with me all day now, buddy. 7! I love 7! I love 7! 23 cockroaches. Hold on, Jordy. Hold on, Jordy. 23 cockroaches. I really like them. They all get that. First time I ever fully liked. Get the fuck in here. Get the fuck in here. Get the fuck in here. But also, wait, I mean, Doc, did you ever play League of Legends? Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. I thought you were about to murder me. Oh no. No! Oh 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 no! I say oh no as I has a smile on my face because this is so funny. Oh no!
You need to hear.
You can't get me.
I got this.
You can't get me.
This story isn't over yet.
It's the punch. It's a fucking punch every time. Oh. Oh, that's just rude. Oh, I implode. Street Brawl? Real.
Street Brawl.
Alright.
I'm also in your server, but I'm just muted so then I can hear you without you having to push it.
You're so right. Oh, I forgot to press T. Sorry. Sorry. Oh, I guess I can do this one. Do that. Yeah, there we go. Standard league match, yes. Correct. That's fair. But yes, I will still double down of course I would pick my favorites based upon who I play. Where's that Fiddlesticks song? Ah, Fiddlesticks. Oh. Is that Lame-o Jorby? Yes. Yes, it is. Celeste. Celeste. I want this. Fiddle. Do this. I'll come back to this song. Wait. It didn't even...
Make your choice.
I don't want to make my choice right now. I'm trying to pick a song. Okay, it broke. Who am I? Who were they? Ball. Let me click. Let me click. Happy Nasha's happy belated birthday to you, Jorby. It's been a couple of months. I really want 2 for 1, but that tiny scroll. Onse? Why can't I pick a song? I'm just gonna tab out of the freaking game. That's not even updated and correct. Oh my god. Oh my god, Mochi. Oh my god, Mochi. I cannot right now. I'm overstimulated and upset. How dare my Spotify take my music away from me in my time of need. Who the frick is... Okay, that's Jordy. Hey, don't go to sleep. Wake up, buddy. Get her ass.
Your stay will be
Okay.
unforgettable.
Oh, he's in the sky. I really want to throw the ball. I really want to throw the ball. I really want to throw the ball. I'm gonna hit the wall.
Hope this goes as well as rehearsal.
The fucking stun somewhere. What? Where? Eat him.
I am not divine.
Oh, it's just ow! Oh, you sent me over that. I keep on hitting. Mochi, I really gotta get you off my mouse pad. I can't aim for shit. Actually, this time. Oh, scary. That was in February. Oh, thank you, glitching. Welcome in, Raiders. Welcome in, Raiders. Oh, I love stamina. I love stamina. Oh, they took out Jordy.
Hello, Raiders. My name is Sarah. I'm a variety streamer. We do mixed bag Mondays, family-friendly Wednesdays,
He's
and horror
almost
Thursday.
dead.
Or please join us on this wild ride we call life.
Voice chat party test.
Correct the work.
They took out Dynamo.
Your stay will be unforgettable.
Well, that's quite rude. No, I don't want to go. Ooh. God, I have the ball again. Oh, oh.
Storm clouds almost ready.
Into the fray.
Yeah, glad I hit somebody.
We make for one hell of an act.
Wahoo. Oh, a doorman. Where did doorman come from?
It's been a year already.
It's been a year.
already?
Thank you. Sorry, hold on. It's not even a real match, but I want to win this so I can get Mochi off me and I can get my music back. I don't know what the freak happened. Wahoo, okay. Thank you, Glitching. I hope your stream was well. Mochi? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta. Yeah. But I can't. You're so comfy there, but I unfortunately, I'm dying. And I can't play. Do you really want that? Sure. Mochi is displeased with the choices I have made today. Sure. You can't even... Like, why the fuck does this not fucking... Okay, okay. Play this on my fucking computer. Why can't I listen to... Why can't I listen to this on my computer? Like Mochi will remember this. Oh yeah, she will. It's okay, she'll forgive me. Oh my good heavens! Ball. Oh no!
Always look. I see the enemy.
Oh, what happened? What happened while I was in the hotel? Oh my god. Did you guys eat them alive? Damn.
Eat it there, pussy.
What did you do? We eat it there. No. It's Kofas? Kofas. What is 7? Oh, 7. Oh, my dear 7. Sure, I'll get some help. I don't really want. Oh, dishwasher. Oh, Jordy, you're on fire. You're on fire. It was so fun to watch. I'm glad, Quiet. I'm glad you like watching it. Because I just play it because I like it. I like making silly TikToks about it, but that's about it. I don't think anything will come of it because I'm shit at the game. I say is I'm not exactly shit at the game, but I'm shit at the game. What the fuck is happening here? Ooh, refresher. I forgot I have... No! I wanted to throw my ball. Where the frick are they? Whoa! Fucking kill
I'm
her.
just holding the fucking button, bro. Got her.
What are you?
ass.
Oh my god! That was you!
I've been training my whole life for
You just
this.
ran the cat
You
over!
don't have a chance.
Alright, I have 2 balls ready in my pocket and you just killed them.
Let's take out A. Let's take out A's. Let's take out A's.
Yeah. Oh, I can't do that voice. Oh, I'm gonna die. They're almost dead. Okay, he's dead. I got stomped my head in. That's not English. Fuck him up over there. You got it, Georgie. Ow, I got stomped on again.
Got so many buried.
These are the mysteries of my people.
They hate your ass. They hate it. Round 4? No. I haven't got a single fucking kill, but I have fucking 12 12 assists. I've been helping with all the murders. I just haven't done it. You can't frame me.
You do your students.
In this case, I cannot be. What the fuck's Calico doing? Get out of here. I can't aim with this fucking Twizzler.
Take out Calico.
It sounded like you were saying a slur.
It did.
Like a twink or something.
It did sound like it. unfortunately. Where are they when I have a ball? But I'm in like Twizzler stick. Oh, I almost missed the ball. I won't lie. I almost was a failure. Oh, Thorman, get your ass back here. Thorman got his ass out. Oh my god. I'm not even aiming at them. Where am I? Oh, thank you, Dynamo. Oh my god, I fucking hate them.
Our rivals.
I like Jace, but who knows? I hate Jace. Love him in the show. I hate him in the show. Oh, that's all that matters is that I'm having fun.
I think he was a perfectly flawed character. I think the way all the characters that you hate in Arcane, they do a good reason of existing. You know, it's just
I hate
fantastic.
him. I hate him.
He's so annoying.
I
but
hate.
He's so good, especially
He's
at the
so
end.
hot,
oh,
bro.
Lord. Oh, when he's all like fucked up because he's been like in a time loop or whatever the fuck. That's like when he became like a real guy, like a real dude.
He's just some guy. I haven't finished the show. I'm a failure.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
I don't know. Why are you sitting on me?
What haven't you seen? What haven't you seen?
A lot of it.
The entirety of season 2?
Vi and Caitlyn broke up, and that's where I ended.
So the beginning of season 2, I'm gonna hate you. I'm gonna hate you.
Heaven. When you, I'm gonna die. It's very. No, I don't want to. Oh, was that refresher? My refresher loaded in before I saw my refresher. Oh, my Spotify. Just gonna tab out of the game. Spotify, please work. Please. I beg of thee. It's not fucking there. It's a
Hydrant, you bastard! Hydrant!
Well, now it's there. Play on my fucking computer. This computer. Everything's restored now. Everything's better. But damn. Oh, I'm Mina. I have to be up close. Not really. There's a woman up over. Oh, I don't think he was actually very big. Need stacks.
I
Need
think
stacks.
a lot of women have said that at some point.
I'm gonna feature. Kill him.
Get out of here.
Oh, I literally have refresher. Armor and hammer. It's been so long. Yeah, you were Jace. You were Jace. The only man in League of Legends lore that I fucking hate and is the epitome of the Lash is Draven. He is the Lash.
Against them.
Except I like the Lash more than Draven. If you, he's blue. He's blue. He's fucking blue. I don't like any of this.
Dumbass.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't want any. Give me more purple. Pink butter. Oh no, Blue Man angry. Blue Man gone crazy. I really got a cough, bro. That wasn't even a bad cough, but it's still sitting there. I wanted to play. You guys all played Little Company yesterday. I was at work. Oh, good heavens, what's happening there? Oh. This one. I want that one. Oh, I landed on your little, whatever the fuck that is.
Have a chance.
Now.
You have no idea what I'm capable of.
Oh, was he ever, the fucking guardian was ever so slightly in your ball. The guardian was in your ball, bro. Like, you trapped him in. He was up and in there, bro. Also, Midnight Warlock again. You just want to play D&D again. I'm so sorry. Doesn't help that I have a dramatic song on. Hold the fort. You can do it. I wish I had my ult. Hey, so I'm really bad. There's somebody behind me, isn't there? Yes, there was, and it's the man I'm scared of. No. The Archer Mother is gonna be so mad at us, bro. No. Archer Mother, please. Archer Mother, I'm sorry. Yeah, sure, I'll do that one. I wish I was good at games. I want to be Ramatra. 32 bullets. Okay, Paige, I didn't mean to incite to war with you. Ooh, good heavens. Ooh, we lost twice in a row. Forgot about that. I love this song, I love this song, I love this song.
They have so much damage with the butt.
They fucking hate you. No, the Jin!
That's me. Miss my feeding grounds.
No! Bro, they fucking exploded me!
Starting to get good.
What did the gods bless them with? Spirit burn? Enhanced boundless? I don't think we're winning this. Oh, Blue Man. Blue Man left. Blue Man loser. Blue Man loser. Hey, this isn't very nice. I can't slam down like this is Warframe. More like smell meat. Why did I say smell? They're smelling meat. I can't. I'm illiterate, bro.
Let's do an encore.
No like for him. Only invested? I was like, oops. Okay. Okay, D&D would be so much fun. Oh, I hate him.
I am king.
Stop throwing your ball on the bro. On the floor, bro.
In here, I am king.
I can't spend all my time at the sideshow.
Get over here.
Sore on the wrist.
Have a ball. Have a taste of your own medicine.
I am king.
The ball is just on you. Okay. cow. Oh, he's right behind me, isn't he? More street ball. Are you able to do any real game? Okay.
Perhaps I am able. I believe so.
Okay.
Wait, does it work? Does it work? Yeah, it does.
CC bueno bueno. I don't remember what my talk button was for team chat. Should figure that out one day. If you could really go, I miss Kodiak. I miss Kodiak.
Let's contribute to the chaos.
Running. Oh my god. Little boing 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 boing. Oh. I miss playing Rem. Okay, fuck me then. I guess I won't play Rem. That's fine though. Street Fighter I can play, not Rem. I love my little Ren.
Decide carefully.
More dragon. More power. Even more dragon. I love when people word it in such a me language. More dragon. Even more dragon. Who the fuck are you? Oh, you're in Mr. Kelvin again. I have no stamina.
Kevin.
Kevin. League of Legends. Oh, I was gonna play the fucking Fiddlestick song. But my Spotify broke.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
I'm right? Okay. Oh my god, I'm in the sky. Oh, no! Get out of there! Oh god. It wanted your ass.
Want me to dragon?
I don't know why they wanted you so badly. Bebop just really wanted you. Hey. Oh.
This is the best part of the story.
Wow. Ah. Oh, I think he took my ult. He just ran you over. I was correct. I want more dragon, more dragon, more dragon. Stop it, Sinclair. Get down from there. No, he punched me still. We killed somebody. Oh no, bunny! Ow. Ow.
Dragon. More like Dragon D's nuts. I'll go to.
Go down. Hey, Dubs, how you doing? That's for cat sneaky camping. A good choice. A good choice. Oh, hey. Watch out!
I went for a damn parry, but he fucking light budged like a freak.
Fucking freak. What's this? This is Deadlock. Deadlock. Did that never change? Hold on. Did it never change to Deadlock? Did it never change to Deadlock?
It says it. It says it.
It says it?
It says it's Deadlock. It's Deadlock.
It said it. It said it. It said it. It didn't say it on my iPad. It don't matter. Oh yeah, no, my iPad just bonking. I think enhanced. I'm going to curse somebody. I don't like any of those selections. Okay. Sure, I'll take that. Purple. Deadlock, Deadlock, Deadlock. I love Deadlock. I love Deadlock. Freaking dying. I hate being sick. I hate it. I want to play Warframe. I haven't talked to Arthur in days. I love my mans.
Oh, I got a story for you.
Why just shoot so slow? Run. God. She's so above you. Fuck you. Oh, hey, I don't like that.
Hope you like the book.
Well, I keep on throwing the books, and then they leave. He's so low. Han Solo. Han Solo. We all chased him down. Oh! You slammed your face against the wall, bro. Making another dragon, another dragon, another dragon. Yeah! Another one. Oh my god. Come out. Do you have yeah, fuck them. Fuck Sinclair, specific mate. Stamina? Stamina. Skiboop. Mochi, are you okay? She's not. She's not okay. I don't feel like anything today. My brain turned off. It doesn't like exist. Miku. This wasn't Miku. Miku.
I'm thinking.
Exactly what I'm thinking.
This one is one of my favorites.
Exactly what I played. I'm gonna krill. I'm gonna krill. I'm gonna krill. Hey, you. I can't reach him. Fuck you. I got slowing hicks. Oh, I wish I had curse for him. That's okay though. I stunned him! I stunned him! I shut the fuck up. He took my ult. Run. Don't get run over. I don't even think he used it. He's holding it. Oh, he used it. Those definitely were horses. Mochi? Okay, Mochi has cuckoos.
I hope you like the book.
Oh, be a person. Claire's a little bitch up top.
I see the enemy.
What a bitch. Ow.
Don't worry about a thing.
I have... Okay, I'm glad I didn't use my curse. Oh my god, I'm going too fast.
Hey, that's what I usually say.
Oh, wait, we were bullying him though. Punch him. Okay. Fortitude? Fortitude. And me too. Me too. Lightning squall.
Mystic Conduit, they're so fucked. They're so fucked. You have no idea how fucked
I
they
have
are.
electric slippers. Do I want to slide? Do I want? I'm gonna go fast as fuck. Yeah, we're just gonna fucking slide. Also, yeah, fuck him up. Fuck him up. I could slide for so long. Oh my god, I could do donuts!
Enhanced rapid recharge. We're gonna have grenades and healing for ages, forever.
Fuck. Oh my god, his arm. I love being Viper as Paige. This is how you felt with your Geist.
Want to meet a dragon? I love this part.
Let me at him.
It's not your fault you're not better than me.
Let me at him.
Just is what it is.
Yes, I can.
Oh, horses! That did quite scare me. Wow. Is this like a test demo of how to play Viper? That's not us.
Lifting.
Oh. Oh, they're in there still.
There's someone I want you to meet.
Oh. I'm a bunny. Got a blast.
I'm safer already. They took out a furnace. Stop right there.
Oh, you fucking.
You're cursed.
I didn't mean to curse him. That was quite mean of me.
It would appear that I'm on a roll, yes?
I got a blast. Oh. I got a blast. Get the fucking zoom out of there.
I hope you like the dog.
This is quite scary. Hey, so they killed it. They killed it.
Learn from them and destroy them.
Oh, fuck.
I
Even
don't know.
more.
I thought we were on Walker too. I went far back.
You just hate me. You left me to die. You left our poor guardian to fuck.
Yes.
Correct. Healing temple. Electric slipper. That's. I don't have any drink of that. Delicious. Do I want to be perceived? The question of all questions. Slippers. It's like silent slippers. You know, let's try us. I'm a krill.
Blast.
Oh!
I got a story
What
for you.
the hell was that bebopper saying? You're trying to grab me off of the frickin'. Oh. Hey, so I don't think you should use that ult. Oh, I think he got absolutely fucked. Ow.
Kelvin is vexing them.
I brought this with me.
Oh, thank you. Ouchie. Oh.
If they want to kill me, they have to work for it.
I took a diversion. Oh my god, dude, I have so many staminas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 stamina bars. What? What? I kept on picking stamina options. There's spirit burn? Spirit burn. Ow. They're on top of the fucking roof. Almost at ceiling. Oh, watch out up there. Oh. Who the fuck is up there? Oh, horses. When did he take my fucking... Oh. Oh my god.
Face me and die.
Meet my friends.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Bringing in support.
Not work.
I don't think I'm scared anymore. I'm scared. I dropped right onto them. Like a fucking idiot. A fucking fool I am.
Our Green Walker is under attack.
Wow. Hey, so we're getting...
Want to meet a dragon?
Oh my god. How many fucking cards?
I see
How many fucking bullets she got? Oh! It was ours?
The Hidden King relish
Ours?
his victory.
Shut the fuck up, Bebop.
Will
I
make
hate
his
your
fall
ass.
all the sweeter.
We were about to win. Anyways,
That was so fucked up.
that
How's
was
that
so
possible?
fucked up.
Now that's a job well done.
Why is she not looking at me? Wraith turn. There you go. Oh, my fucking weather memo. Unending despair.
Oh, she was 0. She had 0 kills. Unending despair.
Oh. Oh.
One moment, please.
No, not us. Oh, I had 0 too. But I only died once, and I had horses.
Your
And electric
page.
slippers. And electric
Kills are not your
slippers.
job.
I was slippering, sliding. Slippery, sliding. I'm gonna go piss girl, so I'll be right back. Have a dragon. Have a dragon to go. As I'm fucking dying. I'll be right back.
Okay, this is not ideal. I can hold out until help arrives. It'll be fine. I just need to not die.
It's not your fault you're not better than me. It just is what it is.
Okay, this is not ideal. It'll be fine. I just need to not die.
Things keep going my way.
I can hold out until help arrives.
Despicable Me. Wait, but I like the song. Roll it back. Yeah, I quiet. Now we sit here. Oh, the bitch is here. Oh, what you mean? I'm sorry. I called you a bitch. Don't fucking get me.
Did you want to do the real thing?
We can do the real thing.
Okay.
We're hitting it. I do have apple. I do have apple. No, you know what my brain says? My brain says turn that off. Oh my god, I just realized you're on the fucking screen. You're a little guy. Why are you over there? What's your fucking name? There you are. Give me a chat cat. You look like a decal, like I put on the little sigils on my warframes. That's what you look like on a chat cat. Shkiboop. Hello, Kev. How are you? Did you live last night? I fucking got out of there as fast as I could. Bam, bam. I have to actually play the game.
Tired, Rem, but the human needs you completely.
I have to actually lock it and play. What a crazy concept. Oh, okay. They're aggressive over here.
You're not nice.
These people are quite aggressive.
Something.
Yes, Kev. I too concur.
They're aggressive in my lane too.
What the fuck, bro?
Go into shop.
Oh my god, Mirage, I literally can't fucking save you. Get out of there. Oh shit, I missed that. I can't even hit their balls. Paige keeps punching them all. Like she is exclusively punching. Fuck, I missed that so many times because of the fucking boxes in my freaking face. Oh my god, they're so rich already. Oh fuck, I fucking missed. Mirage. Come here. Oh, purity? That's crazy. Fuck you. I need to calm down. I need to calm down. I need to calm... I gotta calm down. I'm not even angry. It just seems appropriate in my brain. I hate you. I want to play Overwatch now. I really want to do damage to it. Mirage, I really want to.
You can play Overwatch whatever.
I know, but I never had that thought before, and I'm like, huh.
Shift missing.
Overwatch. She was right there.
Leave us alone.
Go into shop.
Down. I just deny them their money. What is he at? Okay. Mirage. No, I was reloading. A little chuddling. Would you play Overwatch? No, I don't want to play Overwatch right now. I just want to play Deadlock. I love Deadlock. I love Deadlock. Oh, fuck. Come here, Mirage. No, no, I must reload. It's such a convenient time.
Are you hearing any of the people talking on our team? Because I see their mic light up and nothing. I hear nothing.
I haven't heard anything from them. So I assume no. I didn't even notice. Bridge buffs. I hope they're not saying anything.
Great jumping board.
I think Mina went to get the buff. Oh yeah. It was actually a Haze.
Let's see if they respond.
If you like that, I got some other
Freaking
stuff to
broke.
Page missing. Shiv's missing.
Yes, little Rem, tell them this information. I missed the ball. I wonder if I can... Oh! Oh, I think Shiv went to go get that. Oh no, that's our parabox.
Next. Get out of here. I'm just gonna close my eyes for a second.
Sorry, Mirage, I just stuck them all on you. Back into Overwatch. Now is a wonderful time. I don't know if now is a wonderful time. It's just an appropriate time because the jingle in my jangle.
It is. The game's very good.
You heard it here first. Jordy said, I'm right. It is good. You can be Jetpack Cat. Oh god.
They do lots of things.
Fuck off, Shiv. What, you're wetting him? What are you doing, Shiv? No. No, I didn't go time. I didn't go time. Coming, Mirage. I did him bad.
Let's push yellow.
I didn't mean to die. No, little Rem. I don't want to see them soon.
Going to shop.
Oh, they fucking hate me. my god.
You have a good eye.
In fairness, your fire will only burn brighter.
Rod just tunneled into the fucking wall.
I know you'll help me.
Oh, sinners.
Greenwich is under attack.
You're the best.
I tried to steal. How? Stupid ass shit. I don't want any shit.
Mid-boss has arrived.
That's not the little guy I wanted it on.
Come out and play with me.
He's taking all of our money downstairs.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Pull back!
They've taken our green guardian.
I hate doing sinners. I hate it. No, no. There's a woman on my ass.
Do not let Celeste stand in the way of the Hidden King's ascension.
The page is here in yellow.
No. So sorry.
Come help.
But that means I only have one.
She's under attack.
Oh, she has urn. They're gonna take urn at this stage?
I see the enemy.
Damn, they wanted to do it. Fucking hell. Mirage. I'm doing so
The
bad.
spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
That's fair. I love him.
I see Paige. Let's take out Paige.
I need so much more money. I hate this stupid ass page.
The Hidden King's strength will be yours.
She took my fucking money, you guys. I'm gonna steal her money.
Attention!
Hello?
Taking our yellow guardian.
No. I still need no keyboard.
Get out of here.
Our yellow walker is under attack.
Can I buy? die.
I don't know what to do.
No, it's okay.
I mean, I feel like I've been doing okay in my lane. We just...
You had Shiv come over there. Who the fuck is by me? Little chudlings, go push up lane. Oh, I should steal their shit.
I'll see you later.
Mirage, look out!
Watch out! Yeah, take her money, Paradox. She's a bitch. That's so mean. That's so mean.
I'm here.
Come here, little guys. Have you seen the cinema roll table? It looks so cute. No, I haven't. My friend would probably eat that shit up. Pardon me, my wife. Actually, both of my wives.
Soldier is here.
I forgot they both are savages for a cinema roll. Ah, just killed them now. I hit my apple with my mouse. I hit my apple with my mouse. I wish to have vengeance. I wish for vengeance.
Okay, 4 on green.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm a horrible teammate. I'm a horrible teammate. Hello.
Thank you. The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed. A green walker is under attack.
Need help on Greenwich.
No.
Really unlucky that the Mirage dropped the urn because like that was our urn and then it got reset.
Impose your will.
I got the ball.
Oh no.
Don't be a jerk.
Keeping them alive.
Get out of here.
Ow.
And it's a yellow.
Is this
Oh,
fucking...
you got a Mirage. All right.
I don't wanna
stay
be-
green then.
Yeah, fuck off.
Haze needs to be contained.
Thank you.
You go. I will not let my guardian die. How much money I have?
Bought that off a Knickerbocker that was about to get his legs broken.
I feel like a little child. How much money I have?
A green walker is under attack.
I think we got that. No, little chudlings, go to that.
All right, I'm heading back there.
They fucking love this place.
Oh my god, they fucking want me money! No. Yay.
I see the enemy.
They destroyed the guardian.
Oh, I missed.
Oh my god. Oh my god, are they all congregating? I'm gonna get ran over.
Took out Paradox.
Keep throwing your lives away. I'll be ready.
No.
They took out my...
I will strike them down.
Kill her. Where's she fucking
Ace is
dead?
missing. Mina's missing.
I'm scared. Not fucking just a man playing in my ears. Yes. Yeah. Chadley. Fuck. Are we hidden king? Yes. Oh, hello, giraffe. How are you?
Let's push yellow.
Killed her. Good. Good. Oh, hey, yeah, it's kind of neat.
Not nice.
It's coming behind, yo.
I'll see Kelvin.
Oh my god, we're all still fighting here. Oh my god, you're just kidnapping them!
You dead.
Oh, wait, did he ult to get away? Also, there's bridge buffs.
I gotta heal. I gotta heal, like, or I gotta buy.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Went to my boxes. My boxes. My boxes.
Don't be a jerk.
The Blue Walker is under attack.
You, Kelvin. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck you, fucking chicken strips. Oh, where do they think they're going? I really want to throw up. I want to throw up. Hey, I can't get in there. He excluded me from the party. I'm gonna go steal their farm. I'm gonna go steal it.
Going to yellow.
Head to yoke.
Dangerously stealing their farm. Why is Hamilton playing in my ears? I need pillow, I need pillow. Steal it, I did. Oh, hey, let me in. And now I go on my underground adventures. Oh, I need them. Okay, no one can fit underground. Only me.
Earn, question mark.
Oh my god. Ooh.
Sure, I'll go for it.
Sounds good.
I'm underground, but I'll come up. I must farm. I was just buying.
They want me. They want me so bad. Help.
I'm coming.
Over here.
He's almost fucking dead. I want that.
Don't be a jerk.
Oh, the fucking little guys hit it. No. Oh, he hit a wall.
Show you what power really looks like.
Oh, that's... Hey, that's two women. What did I hit? My water bottle. Frick.
They claim the urn.
We just delivered that to them. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm fucking kill you. I'm gonna kill you. How dare you die? Hey, I didn't lose my bag. which was good. It was 1,200.
You.
And then they got 5,000.
Okay, you shut your fuck up. Shut your
I wish there were more of us over there. I was moving too good. I made the urn get all the way over there.
I'm surprised nobody else showed up. Me and Infernus were fighting for your honor.
A green walker is under attack.
Just she got that? Okay, she got that. Just in case she don't got it. I have a huge ball, bro. It's okay. You soon defeat her, no matter what. I don't want Hamilton in my ears. But I haven't turned it off.
Shuffleboard.
A yellow walker is under attack.
Yellow walker? No. I can't even get there. I'm just gonna take. Gonna take our farm.
I'm helpful.
Okay. I'll have money to my name. Fuck Paige. I hate her. But now, never. I don't have money for anything.
Nobody does.
I'm broke. I don't want to be broke. Okay. I finally got rid of Hamilton in my ears. But I can't go anywhere. I have 1,200 in my pocket. I got $1,200 in my pocket.
Why the fuck is everybody here?
Shuffleboard.
Oh.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
What the fuck is happening over there? Okay, the Jin. Bye, the Jin. Hey, I'm gonna backdoor this. Well, it's not really backdoor. I'm just gonna take this. I'm just gonna take it with my face. That's fucking. I should shut the fuck up.
Yo.
I gotta shut the fuck up. I hope that horse don't make it here. Okay, good.
All that blue, I could probably get yellow.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm coming as fast as I can.
A blue walker is under
Never
attack.
mind, Mina's there. I'm just gonna get fucking cooked.
Anybody need healing? You do. Come here.
I have not gone above 20k souls for like the past 5 minutes. What can I even do?
What are you? Oh. Like, what the fuck are you hyper beaming back there? You can get good. I am good. At Rem. I'm pretty good at Paige and Ivy. Celeste is making her way downtown.
Get out of here.
I hit that right. Yay. Fathers.
I see, Celeste.
Oh, hold on. I got EP.
Stay away.
Greenwich is under attack.
Oh no, we're gonna lose green. Where the fuck is the urn?
They've taken our green walker.
No.
We got urn, but
fuck, I didn't make it over. Okay. No. Oh no, Infernus, get out of there.
They took out
Infernus.
Infernus.
Infernus, no.
Broadway is under attack.
I'm scared. Okay. What the fuck? Oh my god, why do they hurt so bad?
I'll be stacking bodies all night.
What is... That's just rude. Yeah, overtake that one. Enjoy my
I saw
apple.
one from 20 to 29k. That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
The dead will surround them.
I'm trying to feel 5. I agree. Sorry, it turned into a trip for me a moment. Wait, I want to watch my friend. Oh, you're just in a fucking shop.
I'm shopping.
You were shopping. I was like, oh, this must be thrilling entertainment over here. You're shopping. Hello from Russia. How
You should
are
have
you?
watched me a second ago when I killed everybody.
I know. I didn't. I was eating my apple and watching graves. I'm fucking joking now. Oh my god.
Oh, Hayes is near the center over here. She's invisible. I don't know where the fuck she went.
I see Kelvin.
Elvin. I need more farm. I want my farm. I don't need more farm. I need more farm. Consume. Consume. Oh my god, why the fuck do they have so much? They took the urn. Oh no.
We gotta have someone rotate over to green. If I leave blue, Amina's gonna take this.
I can head to green. I can cover you. If you want to go. I don't even think we're gonna make it
We're
today.
all going blue. Come back, man.
Don't be a jerk.
Oh my god, where the fuck did they come from?
No, she's not there.
They claimed the urn.
Ow. Run it, Furnace, run me home.
Thank you for your aid.
I used Infernus as a getaway car. You killed yourself? Yeah, I was munching on my apple. Oh, hold on. Hello. I was just munching. I disassociated in the middle of, after I died. My jingles ain't jingles because I don't have hype music on. And I'm really mad at the page. But also they're getting a lot of souls. They're getting a lot of money, bro. And I've been stealing their money. Hayes is chasing. No, you know what? I'm gonna focus on my job. I'm not gonna focus on my job. That's a shiv. I'm gonna focus on my other job.
I got the ball. Don't come to the roof.
Challenge me and meet the same fate.
Don't hit by horse. Almost hit by horse. Second job. Ow.
Walker is under attack.
1, 2, 3. Ow, I wasn't trying to go up. I was just trying to jump out of them. Okay. No, I can't save you a dime. Oh my god, there's a everywhere. So we're all dead. I'm gonna go back to my apple. I want. Yeah, sure, boundless. I don't know what happened. I feel like we were doing good.
The rejuvenator is descending.
We just kind of kept getting jumped. Like everyone was separated, so we just like would be 4v or 5v6ing often.
Bad. Just scratch art music Monday. Where's my Goblin Core? What's on Goblin Core? I don't think I'm gonna like it. Cardio pop? Running pop? Hype cleaning? Happy walking? Workout pop? Sorry. Those are all of my playlists. 2025 was pretty hype. I was supposed to be eating my apple. I was supposed to be eating my apple. I wasn't. What the fuck did my dog just do? Go Chudlings, go Chudlings. Oh my god, she's scary. I gotta get the fuck out of here. That woman's scary. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I'll hit as many as I can.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Without your help.
Oh, good heavens. No, no. Bebopperson. Okay, so I'm dead. No, no. Oh, I'm gonna go back to eating my apple.
Their fucking score lines though: 13-1, 8-1, 8-1, 2-1, and 28 assists.
They haven't fucking died. Only Mina has died.
Mirage is 0-5.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even doing too good, but that's because I haven't been in fights. I haven't been any assist. Because I've been dead. Oh my god, her fucking bonds.
They took out Mirage.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. No, no. No, no. Oh my god.
Let's get this show on the road.
You just not die. You're so right, Kev. You're so right. Why are they all watching? Oh.
When they DC.
It's so funny though because I saw
just getting started.
Graves walk back and then Shivs walks back too. You lost? Maybe. Hey look, there's Jordy!
I think every time someone DCs, it just auto walks them toward spawn.
To the base. It's such a funny walk.
It moved me up. I'm Phantom 1.
How the fuck did you go up? Hold on.
Well, I don't know if it went up this match, but the last 3 standard matches we won 3 in a row.
Oh.
On the 12th, we lost 1, and then I won as Silver, I won as Billy, and I won as Bebop. But I was Oracle 4, so I went from Oracle 4 to 5 to 6 to Phantom 1.
Stop it.
What are you? What are you?
Archon 2. I haven't moved. Like, I haven't gone down or up. Oh my god, my mouse. I have an apple in my hand. Yeah, I've been just kind of cruising at 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm surprised it hasn't put me down. I'm gonna go throw my apple. I can hit head though. Jello. Am I stuck on?
I haven't picked yet.
That's okay. I can tell. Where am I? My feet are in the floor. In the floor. No, she with me. No, not for sure. No, they are. No. Bit of money? Yes. I was like, who the fuck is that? I didn't realize you moved in furnace. Why you don't jork it? Who can no. Can 7. Oh, I can do that ass. Jork it? Nah.
Well, my teachers are always asking me to apply myself, so might as well do this.
Oh, I can't do that in here. Hold on, let me back it up. Oh. We're not allowed to do anything. Rem. I fucking love Rem. The goal in life. #1 Rem player. Never will be achieved by me. Never.
I know you're tired, Ren.
Oh hey, we're the same man. Oh my god. You're a fucking freak. Why is he just like rocking out like that? I'll lock in. I'll hit the balls.
We got an annoying lane here.
Yeah. We have money back here. I need to refuel? Reload. I want the ball that's over here. We need it. Okay, I got us money. $38. The fucking Victorian cough is coming back. No, she's fucking hitting it. Stop being smart. No. Fuck you, Grapes. Oh, they want you. Oh. Ow.
She does
what?
so much damage.
You're really low. Fuck off, Graves. She's trying to take camp. I'm going to finish off. You killed- I didn't even get an assist for that, Archmother. I have complaints. No.
Unfortunately, I was fighting for my life.
I killed her for you.
Excellent. As long as it ends up even, we're good.
I also took our camp because Graves took 1.
I see Yamato.
Wait, she took 1. She already absorbed it into her belly. Now I will not leave your side again. That's a lie. I probably am lying. Wee wee wee.
Back up, I gotta get for you.
Boom, boom. Allow me. I have missed you.
Don't be a jerk.
Oh. I'm not having a nap, but I'm back. You haven't napped yet? Perfect time. Oh my god. Oh, I made a grave mistake.
A graves mistake.
I hate you, I hate it. I hate it. I took that from you, but I hit the ball. She's coming around the side. Fuck you. Ah, hey, I'm bringing skulls to you. Oh, just kidding, I didn't. I left them in there. Oh, I didn't hit their boss. Oh, okay. Yay. You chuddling, you go. Smiling friends. Have fun passing out.
I'm gonna go grab buff.
Stomping graves, that hurts.
Oh fuck, I thought I would be able to survive that longer.
Stupid ass freaking.
Great Talon's really low behind Vale. Nice.
Headed to York.
Yeah. Oh. Did I skip past? Okay. What the fuck? There you are.
We're buddies.
Chuddling.
Never, you're the best.
Oh, fucking missed.
I like naps. Don't be a jerk.
She's so low.
Whoa, 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 what's happening over there?
What's happening over what? Oh. She gonna fucking...
F slur silver.
Oh! I didn't even look up to see that.
Let me grab these boxes.
Okay, I'm gonna take this box. You said that and I stopped in my tracks. I was like, this box? I denied it! I denied it! I did it! I really want to sleep them.
You do, let me know.
Yeah, when they get too close again. I missed my jump.
I have like a secret counter to Graves. Her skulls reload me. They proc blast it.
Oh.
I can back up and let them just like, so you can sleep them.
If you want, yeah. Lead them into false a false sense of security.
Yeah, get ready. Get a good position.
Yes, I got them both. Yeah.
Kill me if you can.
Ow! Fucking hell, that hurt. Oh my god, that hurt.
Just Yamato.
Oh my god.
Keep up and leaving for a minute. Go and take the doubles.
Sounds good.
Yeah, let's make you leave, please.
Got parried.
No. Oh, she's so low.
They took out Billy.
No.
Bye. Get out of here. Stay house.
I wish I could have gotten Graves.
We don't have wave.
The camp is up too. Oh my god. Oh. Hell yeah. No.
Gotta grab her, our bag.
Oh, can I take her back?
I'm going in.
It's up on the roof. Right there.
Oh, I see. Oh my god. I went flying. That's such an inconvenient place to die. Yes, Rem, your money. I'm gonna go steal their... I'm not gonna steal any of theirs.
Has arrived.
The bridge buff, maybe?
You made them in there? Okay. Sorry, I became
They took it.
Fuck.
Headed to yellow.
Oh my god. She's low again.
Something's happening with my controls. It's like they're breaking.
Runner.
Oh no. Hurry? Oh, okay.
Right buff is still up.
I feel scared.
Help me deliver this thing.
Wish I would like to.
Dynamo is coming to help.
They do lots of things.
Something's weird happening with like my keyboard or something. My controls are fucking up.
Do you want me to pause?
No, I think it's okay. It's okay.
Cool. Dynamo and Yamato are over here with on green. There's I think 4 on green. We don't have to deliver that necessarily. I'm not going to deliver that urn. Too many people over there. Instead, let's use that time to push other lines. Yeah, that's 4 on green. 4 on green. Push everything.
Fucking 8 are fucking lane.
Nice, Ash. Good work.
Lightning caught.
Our green water is under attack.
Which one is the fucking lightning?
Don't be a jerk.
Somebody's doing that centers right here.
Oh my god.
I don't know what was happening right there. It was like
nice.
My keys were
That's all
taking
5 on
inputs
other
from
lanes.
before.
Let's take this yellow.
That's weird. Like it bad. Oh. It had like a backlog.
Yeah, like everything was delayed, like it was lagging, but I saw no lag.
Weird.
To be claimed.
I'm so sad about that urn. I was so ready and
Steppers on
then
yellow.
I got eated.
I'm gonna try grab Ern again.
Headed to Broadway.
Yeah, I'm gonna push this as far back as I can.
Two
that
on
guy
yellow.
is loud compared to
Great
everyone
talent in
who's normally
silver. Dynamo is preparing a stop.
Yeah. He is clear as a day.
I see the enemy.
I'm gonna help. Nice, nice. Mirage, you got yellow. Where's Ern? There it is. I'll grab it.
Nope.
Go grab yellow. Oh, you got it. I'm gonna go grab yellow.
Headed to York.
3 on green. We do not have to deliver that.
Yeah, they're pushing
we
my
can force
ass,
them.
man. Just run, just run.
I'm trying. It don't matter.
Okay, I'm gonna come over to green.
They keep on wanting to do the urn, which is fine. But then it brings everybody to our lane.
I mean, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to have cleared our lane.
Yeah. We just keep on getting eated.
I'll slam them down. You guys take them out.
2.
Oh my god.
Nice, nice. Push everything.
Need up on blue.
Nice.
Great talent.
Okay, you guys got green. I'm gonna go to blue. Push everything because we have advantage for 10 seconds.
My little
2 on blue.
travelings.
3 on blue. 1 on yellow. Green safe. The respawn
I
in 3.
can't hear anything when he speaks.
He is very loud.
Buffs up in 20.
Yamato's here?
Two on green. Buffs up in 10.
Yeah, they're already back. I gotta run. They're just gonna kill me again.
All good. All... Gonna come back to green. Just play by Walker. Buffs are up.
He's giving
2 on green, 1 on
good
yellow,
call
3
outs.
on green.
But at the same time, I'm overwhelmed.
Okay.
Headed to Greenwich.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Graves, they're all converging on you. Get out of there, Mirage. Yellow needs help.
I'll head to yellow.
Thank you.
Our yellow walker is under attack.
Oops.
Apologies.
It's all good. All are here.
Oh, I
Yellow's
don't
great push.
have.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna try to get you to Billy. There you go.
Hand delivered.
Okay, yes. I think that's 5 on green right now.
Come to York.
Just 1. I fucked that.
She's still
One's
dies,
dead.
that's good.
Nice, we can take yellow off of this, I think. They're missing. They're starting to go missing.
Silver's on the right.
Nice, nice, nice.
Headed to green.
Oh no, the horse.
I'm dead. Great talent.
Damn. Get out of there. Walker's gone. No need to fight.
Good.
That's a
Eaten.
fight we don't want to take anymore. Actually,
still loud.
He's so. It's good, but
we
it's
still do want
bad.
presence on other lanes, though.
Let's go blue.
Page is out of position.
I love the keyboards being blinked. The keyboards that I
You
hear
want some
in
help
this game.
still over there on green, or?
I'm gonna come get.
Headed to green.
Graves can die.
She did.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, yellow. Earn.
What am I
I'm gonna grab
earning?
Earn. I don't have ult for 30. Force them to split their attention between green and Urn. Silver's on yellow.
Should I stay here with blue?
Yes.
Oh my god.
All good, all good.
Okay.
Oh my
Gives
god.
us time to plan Urn. With Urn.
Also, Lash, you're like a little loud. I normally have to raise people really high, but like you're so much louder than everybody else.
I'm so sorry. 1 second, let me fuck with my mic.
No, it sounds good. It sounds good. I don't know.
The comms are great. It's just so much louder than everybody else.
Like you can hear your keyboards, but once you take off your push to talk, it's fine.
Yeah. Not the worst. Not the worst.
Oh my god.
All right.
We don't necessarily have to deliver this turn. Pressure on green would be really nice.
Silver and Ran, or who's there?
I don't know what's happening on my end.
Hanzo on green.
Yeah, I'm good now.
Funny.
Cool. It's Silver's pause.
25k is crazy.
I can go to the. I can. 25.
Bebop gave me a good lane.
Headed to Greenwich.
Oh my god, my. Oh my god, my game was so broken for a second.
Could somebody grab my Urn? I'd love to ult.
We do lots of things.
3 on yellow. Green's a good push.
Yep.
Great Talon's missing.
Dynamo's Great Talon.
Dynamo's on center.
Everybody.
Our yellow walker is under attack.
I had it under control.
But she did not have it under control.
We did it!
Oh, good heavens.
3 over here. Help. No, they're good. Cool.
I'm here.
Urn is walking away. That's fine, I think.
Almost.
Oh my god.
Thanks.
Dynamo's missing. Oh, yep. You've got 2 on green. Go.
Our blue guardian has been destroyed.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's 20. Yamato on her.
I see Yamato.
I'd love to kill that.
Headed to Broadway. I see Dynamite.
Our blue walker is under attack.
2 here.
Silver kind of low. Nice.
Let's clear wave.
What an interesting game. I like this.
My grandma started
3
talking to me.
on yellow right now. Yamato's missing.
I'm gonna head over to
So
yellow. Oh no. Actually, 7, you got it. You got it.
Yep, I can add it.
I have ult.
I also have ult. You do it all, I'll do mine.
Cool. I'm waiting for them to push. That was. I thought I would catch much more with that. Sorry about that.
No worries. We got a kill.
30-second page timeout. I'll grab that urn.
My god.
I'm headed to Greenwich.
Be silver.
Headed to Green.
Graves is doing something in there.
They cannot have
Nice. Coming in with her. We can pretty safely.
I'm coming.
Yamato.
I know you'll help me.
I can just try to take it.
All good.
Oh, they got
Birded. I'll grab her.
Katie's come over. She's heading from blue.
Nice. Green, let's push. That's an objective.
I gotta run home and heal.
That's fair.
Where is my exit?
Be rewarded.
Nice. That's 3 down.
The silver's so tilted.
Graves is on yellow. Bolt is back up in 8. I thought I had more stamina. I'm an idiot.
No.
Worst slash ever.
Don't be a jerk. They took out Mirage.
I'd fall back.
Oh,
That's all 3.
I kind of thought that was like a surefire win. I'm sorry, I should have gone over.
All good. Nice. Rim needs help on a tag along to get out.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay. I'm good. I'm out.
Now I play back.
Actually, I'm attached to you now. Oh, bless his soul.
I'm gonna go to blue.
Rem needs a tag along to get out. Yes, I do.
Ready to show them what Lash is all about. Great talent's missing.
Nobody there.
They're great at shuffleboard.
Do they want very many?
Kind of feeling focus lens.
See the enemy.
Heavens. Missed. I want more money.
Nice. Yellow will need help.
I took a 700 bag from Graves. I'm running.
Headed to yellow.
Thank you for taking green. Nice. You've got that.
Great talent's missing.
I'll go deal blue. Boss up in 18.
Oh no.
I'm gonna help at green. Oh.
Ooh.
We almost got.
I can backdoor green. Just back out.
Oh, we got it. My chudlings! Okay. My chudlings!
Nice.
That was worth
the
it.
chudlings.
Turns out morality is subjective.
I don't even want that.
Pops
That's
are up.
Their urn.
what I'm referring to.
13% still
What, the
diff,
shuffleboard?
approximately.
Oh, my little
Go.
chudlings. He's talking about my little chudlings. They're good at shuffleboard. I want more money.
The spirit urn is waiting to be claimed.
Wait, that was
Page
my
on green.
coming. Oh, I
She just
gotta.
keeps on going in and dying. What the fuck is
She's
her plan?
so tilted.
I'll deal with green wave.
Still forth.
Headed to you.
Thank you.
You've got green. I'm gonna.
Going in.
2 of them are dead. Let's put pressure. Earn is hard.
I've got ulti. If you got your ulti, we can earn anything.
Oh yeah, that's true. Oh, yep, let's earn.
He's dead.
Let's just mid boss. Hold on.
Yeah,
Oh,
mid
mid
boss.
boss.
the
Mid
answer.
boss.
Yep.
Yeah.
We haven't gone down there in a little bit. Yeah, as in
Fireball.
that never.
You're not nice.
Ready to death slam.
Dynamo doesn't have ult either.
The rejuvenator is descending.
Come in, just in case. Wahoo.
Nice. Yamato's over to our right. Great talents above us. That'd be huge picks. Bebop needs help. Nice.
I'm going back to green where silver is.
Oh my god.
Everybody's back. I mean, we have all lanes, so
yeah, we can just push down mid.
Looks ready.
Did my thing not go?
Nice, nice. I have ult still. Dynamo's over here.
Dynamo. Feel free to hide. It only delays the inevitable.
I'm considering going back to grab yellow. Yeah, I'll go grab yellow.
Okay. Should we stay here and fight or try to get the other?
Stay and fight.
I want to get the yellow.
We can't stay and fight. We're
that's
too
true.
outnumbered here. We're fighting 4v4 on their turf.
We do have. Yeah, that's fair.
Don't waste the rejuve.
Yep. Sorry, I was just trying to. Oh, silver.
Can't be bops out.
Let's just force a fight on Ern.
Yep, heading to Ern.
Taking all their fucking money.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Thank you. Oh god. Nice, and Mirage is trying to earn. Oh, 3 on that. Fuck. Fuck.
They delivered the earth.
Nice.
I like naps.
Still have.
Bebop, sorry, I'm coming.
Bebop person.
Paige is over here, and Great Talon.
Keep us standing.
They split over there. You outnumbered them for 20 seconds. 50 seconds left on redo.
Yamato sleep.
Nice. I'm gonna go grab green.
I'm coming in behind him on yellow.
Great talent's missing.
Buffs are
Yeah,
up,
we
by the
just
way.
push this up.
Yep.
Chilling off everybody.
Are you ready to watch?
20 seconds left on one redo.
Oh, that would have been such a good hook. That would be crazy.
Waiting to be claimed.
Ow.
Help. Sever's about to get a kill on.
The rejuvenator has expired.
Ow. I stepped in there.
Oh god, 1 second after redo.
Without your help,
Want to fall back or keep pushing this?
Silver's on green. They're 1 down from that. They're 3 down. Yamato's up in 15.
We at least got one. Just Bebop. Oh. Little Bebop.
Yamato's back in 5. 7's not with you guys. I'd maybe fall out. Yeah, Bebop's low. Everybody's low. Fall out.
I'll leave.
Leave.
Oh. Oh. That's okay. I am the weakest link. Oh, hey, Shaylin. I love you. I love
Silver's an easy kill on green.
Hello, Tesla bullets. I fucking love Tesla bullets. Choo. What the hell?
Headed to ready to use Death Slam.
They're bringing her.
Oh god, Ern's all the way over
The
there.
urn has been dropped.
Headed to blue.
Owl's out.
That for now.
Four on blue, 5.
They're taking the urn. I think they kind of just got that one.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I go push up green.
Nothing can be really done about that.
I know.
We still push up green to like get that final guardian, base
I have
guardian.
refresher if you want to go again. I'm still here.
I sent my chudlings. I'm going to steal their farm.
I'm heading to mid.
2.
Time to get up close and personal.
None of us have Spirit Burn. Does anybody plan on buying Spirit Burn?
Supposed to be hard.
I don't really do enough spirits.
No, she's out.
All good. I'll buy it if I next opportunity, because I do deal enough.
Has arrived.
Ooh. Let's go. Let's go mid boss. It's pretty safe with no dynamo ult.
Sweet.
All right, yeah, sounds good.
Thank you for your aid.
Maybe they want money. I think my greed sickens me.
They do lots of things.
Graves and Bebop are fighting. Grey Talon is on green. Last I saw, Dynamo is missing.
Heal, 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 heal. Cricket. Money, 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 money.
Page back up in 5. Silver's out of his.
Oh, Silver can so dash. She's just like throwing herself at us.
My greed sickens me.
Overwatch player, probably.
Oh my god!
I think she's just mega tilted by whatever happened early game.
Yep.
She was saying some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna grab this green.
Get it. I'm going to the curiosity shop. Curiosity
I can
shopping.
go down yellow and just clear those.
Thank you. Graves is not there. Graves is on blue with Dynamo. And back out Bebop. We don't have the team support here. 3 on blue.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, cool, cool. Now we can convert. 4.
I got it.
We're buddies.
Diamond.
Nice.
Heal you.
It's 2 dead.
We're friends.
Oh, I can heal you.
You still have 2 rejuve?
2 minutes, 30 seconds left on that.
Oh, what happened?
Split me.
Oh. Ow.
Nice. Dynamo is super low.
You're not nice.
Yeah.
I see the enemy.
Get her ass. I don't like this. Okay.
Silver's like behind us.
Yep, I'm gonna deal with her.
Healing everybody.
Nice. Let's win.
Ow.
Good game.
Nice. Jeez. Good comms.
Good comms, sir. That was you. Good comms. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. That was a crazy game.
That was crazy. He just like gave his comms and fucked off.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. But that was such good comms. Except sometimes it was very scary at the beginning. I'm like, wait, I can't hear. You're giving good things, but now it's constantly, and so all I can hear is you.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gotta help my grandma stuff.
Oh,
So,
you made me break. Okay, bye.
Alright.
Did you see my rem stuck? Did I get a good picture of that? Honestly, I think that was a really fucking good game. I was very scared at the beginning because most of the time it ended up being silly haha deadlock, and so I don't really lock in, but then he was giving really good comms and the rest of the team was doing really good too, that I was like, I need to lock the fuck in. Wait a minute, I can't be bad. It did suck with the urns at the beginning though. It was a good call not to do the urn and like double back, but it just sucked for us because it made them all congregate and then we just got eaten because then we didn't have the rest of the team. Because we didn't want to lose that urn, and it's a good thing we didn't. We probably would have lost it. They did good, they did good. Look at all of my rem. Oh, that got me to Archon 3, I think because I actually was doing oh yeah, did I actually? The most healing. Didn't fucking like kill anybody, but holy shit, did I keep everybody alive. Honestly, I think I'm gonna end it on that. My throat isn't doing worse. It actually kind of feels okay compared to like the rest of it, but I feel it in my ear. So I'm gonna fucking rest it. But that was a really fucking good game. That was a nice like little stream. We're gonna play something chill on Wednesday, I know. Every time I fluff up my hair like this, I just look like a little lion. Moon playing Overwatch. I'm gonna have to message Moon. Yeah, I'm just gonna end on that. That was a really good one. I don't think I'm gonna raid out. That's okay. You're a little lion. Yeah, I'm a little lion. I'm a little lion. Sorry. Okay. I'm still not fully better, Shaylin. I still have my Victorian cough. Oh my god. I'm a little lion. When I take care of my hair, it's fluffy. It's very fluffy. But please, everybody, take care. My phone, plus you're chirping the color, makes it seem like you're... That's fair. The shirt very much is not my skin color, but in this lighting, because this is like very... It's like baby pink. I am very not baby pink color. But I love you all. It looks so pretty. Thank you. I've been taking care of it. It was not being taken care of when I was sick. I looked like a fucking decrepit little gremlin when I was sick. Anyways, I do love this song, but I want a hyper song. At least right meow. Yeah, okay, this works. Please have a good rest of your day. Let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that. I'll see you all on Wednesday. I'm gonna try to edit some more this week. I need to finish editing the Grace edit. I just took a break from that. Captain! We'll get some brick. I will get some brick. I will take brick and put in pillow and be ram again and throw it at the enemy. I will. But everybody else, take care. I will see you all on Wednesday. Hopefully better. If not, have medicine. For this cough. I think my throat is getting better. But other than that, I will see you then. Please take care. Thank you for a great stream today, for just chill and letting me experiment and do things. Hee hee. I love you all. Goodbye.